Hey guys, Sarah here. I wanted to talk about anxiety. It's a topic near and dear to my heart because I've suffered from it lots. I used to hide in the bathroom in middle school and eat chocolate. Quite sad. I just couldn't face. I think I've had a lot of social anxiety, so might not seem like it because now I'm out there on the internet and I'm also leading breathwork sessions. But I've definitely had a lot of social anxiety. So, like that hiding back when I was a kid was about just socially. I felt very overstimulated by all the noise and people. Like, just it doesn't seem like maybe the average kid is overstimulated by that, but I'm sure there are many who are. I was one of those, very sensitive, and it was just too much commotion, too many people. Um, yeah, I always struggled with social anxiety and how to socialize and stuff. So I would hide rather than like go to the lunchroom, cafeteria, and yeah. So this is just to say that like for sure I know what anxiety feels like, panic attacks as well, and that's probably my least favorite feeling. It's for me like I just want to escape. I want to get away. But of course it's within me, so it's hard. But like so if we're talking about things that help with it. For me, I did learn that like going running, jogging, walking, even moving physically, dancing, putting in earbuds and dancing, shaking, whatever, that can really help. And as I get into the SOMA breath stuff, breath work, it's really interesting because I've learned that breathing less is desirable. And when you're anxious or stressed or unhealthy, breathe more. Um, and the reason I say this right now is because as I think about how jogging helps me or moving physically, I originally thought, well, that would make me breathe more, because I'm breathing hard because I'm running or whatever. But actually, I gotta think now that it's actually helping me breathe less. So, like, yes, I'm exercising, so I'm breathing a little bit more, but maybe compared to that anxious state where when you're anxious, like you might breathe a lot of times per minute. So ideal is like four or five breaths a minute. And when you're anxious, maybe you're breathing 20 times a minute just. And I do notice that now that I'm paying attention to it. If I'm anxious, I'm breathing a lot. So, and then even with exercise, it's actually bringing that down, I think. So it's interesting. So, yeah, do you suffer from anxiety? What stuff works for you? Um, if you haven't tried it, definitely try moving physically and see if that brings it down. I remember one time years ago, I even thought I need to call 911, and this is what panic attacks can do to people, right? Like I knew it was panic, but it was so bad that I was like almost willing to go to the mental hospital or something. Um, And I think my dad at the time was like, "Go for a run." I'm like, "What's that gonna do?" And then call me. And after I jogged, and not for that long, I was like, "Okay, I don't feel great, but like I don't need to go to the hospital." So that would be one thing to try. In general, breath work, Soma breath. I'm a Soma breath instructor. uh, is helpful for anxiety. So if I think about my experience there, when I discovered it, um, I released emotion, um, started feeling very excited and passionate and having forward moving energy. And I'm like, okay, how does this apply to anxiety? Like, did it just take away my anxiety or what? I think, like, anxiety can really come from scaring yourself, so, like, from your thoughts and worries, and I'm so prone to that, and definitely the Soma breath, um, you're breathing in rhythm to music, like chanting and um, these wonderful breath holds. Yeah. So yes, it relieved my anxiety. Um, Possibly, I'm sure there are several reasons for this, but possibly because I experience in Soma breath where it takes me away from my thoughts, but I don't have to make that happen. I just have to put my attention on the practice. So on the music, on breathing in a rhythm, on the guidance, on holding breath if I'm in the breath holding section. So there's a lot to put your attention on. And then I think attention gets removed from whatever is like misfiring here, or unhelpful, negative, scary thoughts. If you're somebody who can, if you're somebody who has anxiety, maybe you relate to that. Like, do you get a lot of negative thoughts? Do you get scary thoughts? Do you feel a lot of worry, obsession? Like, can you not shut your brain off? This kind of thing. So yeah, Soma breath definitely can help with that. So if you do try it um, for anxiety, I would love to hear, did it help you with your anxiety? Yeah. So breath is super important in combating anxiety, relieving it. I know breathing out longer than your inhale is helpful. So maybe especially the rhythms where the exhale is longer. So like a 4-8 rhythm in Soma breath or a 2-4, so that your exhale is longer than your inhale. I listened to a track um, Niraj made. He's the founder of Soma Breath. That's 4-8-8. So like inhaling for 4 with music. So sometimes my problem is my willingness, right? Like somehow in those negative states, an anxious state, I'm not always willing. But if I can get myself to just put my earbuds in and listen to this track, it's only like 10 minutes. Um, there's music and I breathe in for 4 counts and it's guided, like counting. Breathe out for 8 and then hold my breath for 8 and then it goes again. In for 4, out for 8, hold your breath for 8, in for 4. And really, if you don't have that track, you could do it to any music um, to help you or look at a stopwatch or whatever, in for 4, out for 8, hold for 8. So I'd be interested to see if that helps anyone. So I ran into a thing in the last year or two with getting horrific panic attacks driving. Like it's like not good, right? And I hadn't really had that before, but it started for various reasons, and it would be like with certain people I was driving with, and yeah, so I use my breath there. So definitely, like we advise, like don't do soma breath while driving, of course. Like you don't want to risk that or hold your breath or whatever. But I can regulate my breathing and help myself while driving. Of course, pull over like if you need to, But if there's music playing, that helps me get a beat to stay in a rhythm because I'm like now aware, oh, I'm super anxious, panicking, and I'm aware that my breath is super erratic, very fast, over breathing. Um, and so and so I try to get it in a rhythm. So maybe I listen to music and breathe in for 4, out for 8. So something where the exhale is longer than the inhale, whatever is appropriate for you so that you're not like becoming unsafe driving. But people listen to music while driving. And so, I think it's okay. For me, do it at your own risk and like be safe. But like for me, I can listen to music and breathe in for 4, out for 8, in for 4, out for 8, something like that. Because that's our natural, most desirable breathing pattern anyway, is maybe 4 breaths a minute. And I've heard every 5.5 seconds. That must be for inhale and exhale. Ah, that sounds different. What I understand from my Soma breath training is ideal might be like 4 or 5 breaths a minute. I've heard, I think, anywhere from 3 to 6. Um, and a regular breathing pattern. So, like, if you're anxious or stressed, you might have this breathing pattern that's super irregular, like in, out, like just not in a rhythm. So you want to be in a regular rhythm and not that many breaths per minute, and your exhale longer than your inhale. So, and maybe even holding your breath a little bit after the exhale. So, anyway, what else would I like to share on anxiety today? Hey, I just want to send like love to you if you're struggling a lot with it, especially social anxiety. But for any reason, anxiety, panic attacks, because I know how painful and debilitating they are. So, yeah, I'm sure there's much more we could go into, but I think I will wrap it up there and say just have a wonderful day and talk to you next time.